It's written in the document. It's not considered written in the document. Okay. Meisvei with the Gemara is a question. It's an incredible case. Someone's digging a pit in a public property. And an ox falls into the pit that he's digging. He's down in the pit. And an ox falls in and kills the guy that's digging the pit. He's not supposed to be there. And he's getting... This is like I would say, police, they're stealing my drugs. Right? Here's the guy that's... he's not supposed to be digging the pit. And now he's getting hurt with this animal that's... So what's he going to claim over here? He's not hurt, he gets killed. So the owner of the ox is pater. If the ox dies, the guy dies, and his inheritors have to pay for the dead ox because he dug the pit.
Unless it's his ox.
They call that karma. Amar Rabbi Ila. So here we have a question. What's the question? Here the question is that the guy dies. He caused damage. He now has to pay someone else for the damages that he caused. He has to pay for the damages that he caused. Now, 1 second. He, according to one opinion here, someone that dies, or that's being taken out to be killed, the inheritors should not need to pay. They should not need to pay because just because it's written in the Torah doesn't mean that there's a document that you can extract from the inheritors. Or it's considered a milval peh, and you shouldn't have to pay. And here we're saying that he does have to pay. So Amar Rav Ila, Rav Ila says in the name of Rav Kish Amad Bedin. Says that the person didn't die immediately. We're able to take him to court. And that's why we can take him to court. And in court they pass a verdict that he's obligated. The Gemara says 1 second, Harguk Tani. It says the ox killed him. It doesn't say that he died later. Amar Rav Barava Kishasu Treifa. The ox killed him. Excuse me. Kishasu Treifa. It caused him to be on that he's going to die. He's a treifa. However, he didn't die right away. But Amar Rav Nachman.
What do you mean he's a treifa? He's a man.
He's a man that treifa means that he's going to die very soon. Within 12 months.
Yeah, but we use that for an animal.
We use it for an animal, and here we're using it for a man. That's yeah. No, but the Gemara uses it. The Gemara uses it to treifa. If someone murders another person, but the person was a treifa, he was going to die anyway, does he get the death penalty? The Gemara uses it. But Amar Rav Nachman, the problem is, Tani Chaga, or Tani Tana.
And what happened if the ox only died, the man doesn't die? He gets a fine?
Oh, so then that's the case of a Barbishus Arabim, where you have to pay for the ox that falls in. Here, the interesting thing is here, the owner, the guy that dug the pit, doesn't exist anymore. And we're taking it from the inheritors. How could you take it from the inheritors? We had a whole machlekes. Can you take it from the inheritors? So we're saying, no, the guy didn't die right away. But now we say, 1 second, Tani Meis Ukvarai. It was taught that he died and he got buried by the ox. He's buried in the pit. It's not that you take him to court. The Hilchasa, the Yasvi Daini Apuma de Beira. This case would make sense if you have the Dayanim are sitting there with their legs dangling in the pit, and they're able to watch this whole thing. They're sitting at the edge of the pit.
They came when he was already a Goysis, and they pronounced it.
Oh, okay. But he gets buried. Yeah. He gets buried. It's any funny story. It's so funny that they should be watching him commit this crime of digging a pit in a public area, and then.
No, they came after. He became a treifa, and when they came a treifa, they came to see him.
I would assume that they came to tell him that he has to fill it in. And as they're trying to tell him that, the ox falls in and buries him, and that must be the Tanu Rabbanan. Whenever we were, as a kid, we would go in Rhode Island. There was a beach, Narragansett.
And you dig holes?
We would dig holes in the sand, and my mother would always make us fill it up. We can't leave it. Someone may be walking when it's getting dark.
Every mother said that.
But we actually had to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you dig it close enough to the waves,
it gets washed away.
Yeah.
So Taner Rabbanan, the rabbi started in a brayse, Ayetzi Laharik, someone that's taken out to be killed, Masan Lav Midam Chatasim Midam Hashama. If he has sacrifices that are left there, you sprinkle those sacrifices, the blood from those sacrifices, even though it's like his last things, he's being killed. But Chet Ba'is Shai Niskakan like.
By the way, that's just your mother or that's the halacha?
That's I think that's the halacha.
That's just your mother.
No, it's an important question. The halacha is that you're not allowed to cause damage. If he sins at that moment, then we don't stop to discuss sacrifices or bring new sacrifices. Only if the sacrifices were there already, then you sprinkle the blood. My time, you're not supposed to delay the judgment. Abaya says to Rabbi Yosef, his teacher, if you're not supposed to delay judgment, the punishment, why do you sprinkle the blood? That takes time. You should just kill him right away and leave the blood. That's because the sacrifice was slaughtered already, and it's not a problem. That amount is not a big deal. But if, let's say, a sacrifice wasn't slaughtered, then you would have to sacrifice it. Then you don't sprinkle the blood. Why did we say in Adatani instead of the Tana stating that if he sins at that moment, we don't separate his sacrifices and take care of all these things? Why don't we divide the case into two with someone that had already sinned before, and the question was his sacrifice slaughtered or not? Because when we want to give two cases, one, we sprinkle the blood, and one, we don't sprinkle the blood. The two cases that we gave was, one is where he sinned previously, and one is where he just sins now. Why do you have to do that? Say he sinned previously, and you sprinkle the blood if the sacrifice was slaughtered, and you don't sprinkle the blood if it wasn't slaughtered. Because we have the distinction in one case itself. You don't need two separate cases to make the distinction of when you sprinkle the blood. We should divide this case up itself. When do we say that you sprinkle the blood when the sacrifice was slaughtered already? But if it wasn't sacrificed, then you don't sprinkle the blood. The Gemara says, this is exactly what it means. When do we say that you sprinkle the blood? That's only if it was sacrificed already. But if it's sacrificed, it wasn't slaughtered yet, then we consider it as if he has just sinned, and it wasn't even separated, and we don't bring a sacrifice. Okay, so what we thought that the Mishnah should say is exactly what the Mishnah did say. It doesn't. It says, but if he sins at that time, it doesn't say, but if it wasn't sacrificed. What I mean to say is that if it wasn't sacrificed, it's as if he had sinned at that time. Should I leave it? A woman that's being taken out to be killed, she's pregnant. In Mamtin La Shetela, you don't wait for the baby to be born. Killing two. But it's considered one. And it's very possible that the baby was part of the crime in her when she committed the crime. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But if a woman is in labor, Mamtin La Shetela, then you wait for the baby to be born. Isha Shenerga, if a woman is killed, Nan and Basari are allowed to use her hair. Behema Shenerga, but if an animal is killed, Asur Bahana, it's forbidden. It's forbidden to make use of the animal. The Gemara says, Chita Gufahi. Of course the baby is killed. The baby is part of her organs at earlier stages. The Gemara says, Yisrich. It's necessary to tell us. I could have entered your mind to say, Hoyel, because of Kashi Yusuf of Balish, I could have said, it could enter your mind to say, I could have thought differently. Hava Amina, right? I could have thought differently. I could have thought that when two women are fighting, and two men are fighting, and a woman gets hit, so the man has to pay for the miscarriage. Who does he pay? He pays to the husband. that means that the value of the fetus belongs to the husband. So why are we killing this fetus? We're killing something that's the husband. It's not even her fetus. It belongs to the husband. We shouldn't destroy this from him. Kamash Malan, that no, it's part of the woman. But maybe it's not so. Amar Rabavu, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Rabavo says in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Amar Kro, Mesu Gam Shneim. It says that they both die. This is it when by adultery, both man and woman die. The Rabbi says Avlad. This includes that if the woman's pregnant, so the child also dies. The Gemara says 1 second. Behind me boy le'ad shiyu shneim shavin. Div Rabbi Yoshia. Gam shneim. The word shneim tells me that both of them need to be guilty. That means that they both need to be of age. Let's say there was adultery was committed by a child together with a married woman, a young boy with a woman that was older, or a young girl was already married, and so one of them wasn't of age to get capital punishment.
What is the age?
13 or 12. But here, if one of them was younger, then they don't get the capital punishment. Mesu gam shneim, they need to, for both of them to die, they need to be both of age. Shneim shavim. So why are you saying that? Gam shneim tells me to include the fetus. So kika amret, Gemara says migam. He didn't mean shneim. He meant gam. Also, the word gam, that's an extra word. That's telling me that the fetus dies. Yosh valamashber, if she's sitting and giving birth, my taima. What's the reason why this is different? Once it starts to come out, it's considered like a separate body. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel. Rav Yehuda said the name of Shmuel, a woman that's being taken out to be killed. You start killing her opposite where the fetus is, so that the fetus doesn't come out afterwards.
The laws of skila, sorry for her coming.
I'm not sure exactly, but skila definitely would you focus it on where the fetus is.
It's a non-viable fetus.
Maybe.
I mean, if the fetus is 8 months, you would still kill the fetus?
Yeah, because it says only b'mashma.
Right.
Only if she's in labor, you don't kill her.
Well, this is the pro-choice
argument. Before labor,
I understand, but that's my question.
Right.
You could
this is the pro-choice argument in America.
Save the baby.
That it's part of a woman's body.
The baby did crime with her.
The baby do the crime.
I want to go through this because I don't want to discuss this again tomorrow. So it shouldn't be disgusting, because if she'll be dead, and then the child is going to come out, and that's going to be something disgusting. Do you want to say that normally she would die first, and the fetus would die second? Because we've established that the child dies first. The fetus dies first. You have a child, he inherits from his mother in the womb. Let's say the mother dies, he inherits in the womb, and that inheritance goes over to his brothers that are only related to him through his father. So the child can inherit. The only way that could work, though, is if the child survives the mother's death in the womb and gives it over, or at least in the first day when he's born. That he inherits the mother's property to give it over to the brothers from his father. That's only if he's born. But if he's a fetus, not. Why? Because the uber, the fetus dies first. What do we see? We see that the child, that the fetus does not inherit because he dies before the mother. It's only if he was born that he can inherit and give over. Gemara says, "Hani mila gabi misa." Over there, we're not talking about the mother's killed. There, we're talking about that the mother's dying. I did the vlad zutra chayasa. The child has less life force. The drop, the poison of the malach hamavis, kills the child first because the mother's on her deathbed. But when the mother's healthy and she's being killed, he makes a bresha, then she dies first, and the child can die afterwards. But we have a story where the mother died and the child was still like fluttering, the nerves. That's something else. That's something else. That's because like the tail of a lizard that can still jump around. That doesn't mean that there's life. Rab Nachman Amar Shmuel. Nachman says the name of Shmuel. Ish Yesh Ba'al Mashber Meisa B'Shabbos. A woman that's giving birth and she dies and it's Shabbos, maybe in Sakin, you're allowed to bring a knife, a makarnas crazy, you cut open, do a cesarean, a matzina savlad, you take the child out. The Gemara says, Pshita, that's obvious. My Ovid, what are you doing? Mechatich bebasar, you're allowed to cut meat. The mother's dead. Amar Abba, leinitzchel lavisakin derech shusarabin, you're bringing it through public property. But my kamash malan, the chiddush is the misfek mechalin on Shabbos, Shabbata. That even though there's a doubt if the child is alive, you mechal Shabbos. Tanina, that was already taught in a Mishnah, Mishas Naflal of Mapailes. If a mound falls on him, falls on a person, a wall falls on him, it's rubble. Safek Gusham, Safek Inisham, there's a question if he's there. Safek Kai, Safek Meis, question if he's still alive. Safek Knani, Safek Yisrael, we don't know even if it's a Jew. Mefatkan, Allah Sagal, you remove the rubble, even on Shabbos. So why do we need to say this by us? And whenever there's a doubt, you always do that. What might you have said? Over there, there's a chazaka that he was alive beforehand. We have there's already an assumption that there was life here. Over here, we don't know anything about the child. The child was inside. Kamash Malan, that nevertheless you're allowed to bring a knife through Shusarab. Okay. Let's stop here. I'm sorry we went a little late.
Better place to finish.
Yeah.